What's up, everybody? I'm finally back with my last prediction of my last division winner. And with that said, I'm going to go to probably the most talked about and most popular division, which the media seems to elaborate on all the time, and that is the NFC East. Now, with my winner for the NFC East, I'm picking the reigning Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles. They are returning majority of their players from last season. They won a Super Bowl. That's incredible with a backup quarterback, Nick Foles. They have the best quarterback situation in the league since Carson Wentz, who should have won MVP had he have not got hurt. Congrats to Tom Brady, though. But Carson Wentz would have easily won NFL MVP last year if he would have not got hurt, diving in the end zone, taking an awkward hit to the knee against the Rams on the road. Now they went and won games against the Falcons at home, tough game, and they went and dominated Minnesota, and then they went in and shocked the world and beat the Patriots when they scored the most points in Super Bowl history. Not most history. They scored a ton of points, and the Patriots couldn't stop them. Now with that being said, they returned Jay Ajayi, Corey Clement, who was a rookie last year, and Showell, and Darren Sproles is returning from injury for his 14th and last season. They're deep at running back. Now they finished third in the league last year in rushing. With that said, they also returned superstar tight end Zach Ertz, who had a hell of a season. They returned Brent Selleck. I know they lost Trey Burton, who was a kind of a glue guy, but he was a solid tight end position too. And on the outside, don't forget they had Torrey Smith, Alshon Jeffrey, who got a new contract. And don't forget Nelson Aguilar, who played in the slot, who finally had a ball-out game. Shout out to him also, because I had him on my fantasy team last year, and he did his thing. Offensively, they're stacked. Their line's good. To see if Jason Peters is going to come back from injury. They also had Travis. They also had Jason Kelsey as well too, who balled out. That line is good, man. I'm telling you, they're solid. The thing I love about the Eagles is they play as an entire team. Everybody gets to touch the ball. Not one guy with dominant numbers. Everybody seems to play the role and do their thing, which I like about that. Now in defense, they got a lot of good guys. They got Brandon Grant. They got Chris Long. They got Nigel Bradham. They also got Malcolm Jenkins, who's the leader of that defense and a straight baller. They got Rodney McLeod, and they're also returning Sidney Jones, who they drafted out of Washington, who would have been a first-round pick last year had he not tore his Achilles. But he's coming back, and I think he'll start opposite side. So with that being said, and they had Derek Barnett, the rookie last year, who played pretty well out of Tennessee. Now, with the Eagles, their schedule is not too bad. I still think they're going to win the NFC East. I'm going to pick them. I was going 11-5, but I still think I'm going to pick them to finish 12-4 and win this division. Not easy, because the NFC East is going to be a lot improved this year. So, with that being said, I'm picking them. And also, by the way, one more nugget about their defense. They finished first in rush yards allowed per game at 79.2 and fourth in total defense. Now, let's go to my least favorite team in the NFL, me being nice, America's team, the Dallas Cowboys. Now, everybody has this infatuation with the Dallas Cowboys, but they've had one good season in the last 10 years, and that was 2 years ago when Dak and Zeke were rookies, and they lost in the divisional round to that bad man Aaron Rodgers. They've done nothing for me in my eyes to make them feel like they're Super Bowl contenders. They're more of a talk, and they don't do it on the field. Now, they've got some good players, as you can see, Zeke and Dak. People want to debate if Zeke is the best running back in the league. You can debate it, but I don't see it. The problem with the Cowboys is in the last 2 years, they lost Tony Romo, who retired, and in this past season, they cut Des Bryant, it's been a tumultuous offseason with that, and it's been crazy. And they also had Jason Witten retire last month suddenly when they weren't expecting it. Now, their offense is suspect. Dak, besides Zeke, has no help. We know they're a run-first team, but you still got to give them some weapons. They drafted Michael Gallup in the second round, a wide receiver out of Colorado State who has a lot of potential, but he has to prove it in the league. They still have Cole Beasley, the slot guy, Mr. Get It Done. Then they got Allen Hurns, who was a free agent from Jacksonville. And they also got Terrence Williams, who got in trouble with DUI in the offseason. But he hasn't done anything too much. Tight end position's a little shaky. Now defensively, last year they had Sean Lee, but he's always banged up. If he can stay healthy, he'll be a big motivator to the defense. And I think Jalen Smith finally going into his third year will be healthy since he missed his rookie year with that nasty injury he suffered in his last game at Notre Dame. I also drafted Leighton Vander as a high IQ linebacker out of Boise State. Now they got Byron Jones, so they moved from safety to corner. They let go of Orlando Scandrick. Now the Cowboys will be a good team, and they got the best offensive line in the league. They have a few Hall of Famers on that line, and they gave Zach Martin a contract extension well deserved. He's one of the best guards I've ever seen on that team. Also, they lost David Irvin to a suspension on the D-line. Randy Gregory got reinstated to the league, but who knows if the Cowboys can trust him. They got DeMarcus Lawrence playing on the franchise tag, which he's a beast. He was top 5 in sacks this past season. But that being said, I think Dak and Zeke will have a bounce-back year because when Zeke went out, they were a mess offensively. They are 19-6 with Zeke and 3-4 without him. And last year, you could see that their offense sputtered down the stretch last year, losing games to the Rams. And even on Thanksgiving, they were embarrassed and lit up by the Chargers. So I think the Cowboys will have a bounce-back year, and I'm picking them to finish 10-6 with an outside shot of making the playoffs. Yet I'll be back later at some point in time and give you my playoff teams I'm predicting. But that's that for now. So let's get to my number 3 team in this division, and that is the New York Giants. Now, the Giants typically are a good running organization, and they play pretty well. But last year was a disastrous season. From OBJ hurting his ankle and being out the rest of the season, to Brandon Marshall injury, to not having any running backs, and most importantly, the Eli situation where they benched him and then they put him back in. Now, in my opinion, it was a debate on if they should draft a quarterback or not with the second overall pick, because last time the Giants had a number 2 pick, they picked Lawrence Taylor, and we all know how that turned out. But they took the stud running back Saquon Barkley out of Penn State University. Now, this guy was a beast there. There's a lot of high expectations for him. Can he live up to it? I don't know. We're going to see. But I think the Giants will be improved tremendously offensively, as they'll have Sterling Shepard too. OBJ will be back healthy, and I think they'll end up getting a contract extension done for him. But I do think they need to start looking at the quarterback because they need a future plan in place when Eli retires or they let him go. I mean, they drafted Davis Webb last year, but I don't have a lot of confidence in that guy, if you ask me. So I think they need a bigger name or a draft pick. So we'll see how that goes, but they need to play it out this year. You also got Landon Collins and Olivier Vernon on the defensive side of the ball, and the Eli Apple situation was a mess. But last year was just a bad year. They needed to get rid of Ben McAdoo, and they're getting a fresh start. They got Pat Sherman, which I think will bring in some winning culture, as he came from Minnesota as they got to the NFC Championship game last year. The Giants will be an improved team, but I don't see them making the playoffs, as a lot of people are picking them too. So that being said, I'm picking the Giants to finish 8-8 and 3rd in the NFC East. Now let's go with the team that's going to finish in last place, and that is going to be the mediocre Washington Redskins. Now, they've had this ongoing thing for the past 2 seasons where they franchised Kirk Cousins, where they could have easily just gave him a deal. But I think the front office and the organization and Jay Gruden just didn't have any faith. I think Kirk Cousins was disrespected tremendously, and the fact that he was able to go to Minnesota and get a 3-year, $84 million contract shows his value. He'll show Minnesota what he can do, and the only thing he can do, what he needs to do, is get him to the Super Bowl. But Washington will regret letting him go and let him walk. So what Washington did was they traded for Alex Smith, formerly known as the quarterback of the Kansas City Chiefs. Look, Alex Smith had a great season last year. Got to the playoffs, and they absolutely choked against the Tennessee Titans. Blew a 16-point lead at home at Arrowhead, which is probably the toughest stadium to play in the league. Like, he can pass it, but Alex Smith is just what he is. He's not consistent. He's not a deep ball thrower, and he's not elite. He's just an average guy, in my opinion. So he'll get at Washington average wins. Now, they had Chris Thompson last year, a good running back who shows good quality. But then they also drafted Darius Geis out of LSU, which I think was a good fit for them. So you put them two together, they'll be solid. And also, hopefully Jordan Reed, one of the best tight ends, when healthy, because over the last few years, he's missed 16 games with hamstring injuries, knee injuries, foot injuries, you name it all. That man is talented, but he cannot stay healthy. You know, the name of the game is, can you play? Availability is important. They also, Josh Doxson's coming into his third year, the rookie out of not the rookie out of TCU, the third year guy at TCU, and can he finally prove himself? Now, they had Terrell Pryor last year, but he was hurt with an ankle injury and he didn't show much. They got Jamison Crowder too as well. He's gonna show his work. And they also got Paul Richardson as a free agency from the Seattle Seahawks. I think offensively they'll be a lot better. Defensively, I don't know, they're okay. They're okay. They got Ryan Kerrigan, who's been a stud. And that's a stud for them. And they also have one of the best corners in the game as well, in Josh Norman. Now, Washington will give people a fight, but as long as I think Dan Snyder owns the team, they'll do nothing. They'll have a little say-so. They'll win some games here and there, but nothing important to where you need them to win any games. I think Washington's probably an irrelevant team in this division, and I'm picking them to finish at a mediocre 7-9. So with that said, that's my diva, as I call it, diva division, the NFC East. And with that said, that's my last video on the NFL division picks. So I'll be back soon with some more videos. Thanks, guys, for checking me out. Don't forget, comment below. And don't forget, subscribe.